Hello all, welcome to the JavaScript for Pentesters course on Pentester Academy. In this video, we will look at how to work with cookies in JavaScript. Now, if you followed the XSS videos till now, you'd probably already be convinced about how important cookies are in going ahead and hijacking a user session and assuming his identity. So in this video, we will look at how to set modify delete cookies using JavaScript. Now I've given you a link to the developer documentation of the document.cookie object in JavaScript, which contains all the cookies. So let's jump right in to some concrete examples. Now I'm again going to take up our very simple template page which has a script tag in it. Now to go ahead and create a cookie, we just use document.cookie and let's call this session ID and give it a long random number. Now let's verify that the cookie has actually been set. Now it's important to note that we cannot just run the file as is simply because we would have to associate the cookie with some domain. So to do this, let's run a web server, a really barebone one, on the same page. So the name of the file is demo.html, which we are creating here. And let me run our Python server. So simple HTTP server, which we've created. And this is now bound to port 8000. So let's go in here and say localhost 8000 demo.html. And if you notice, the cookie session ID has this long random value, which is really what we set in here. Fantastic. Now it is possible, of course, to set multiple name value pairs, and we can very simply do this by just calling document.cookie equals, once again, let's call this user ID equals 999. Now note that this just appends rather than removes, which means session ID equals this long random value will also exist. And just to prove that real quick, let's refresh the page again. So we have session ID first set to this value. And of course, we have not put in the second alert. And of course, right now, because the cookie is already set, you would actually see both of them in the first shot itself, right? Both user ID equals 999 and session ID equals to the long random value. Now it is possible, of course, to iterate through these values as well. So I think now we could go ahead and remove our alerts. And we can even comment these out simply because the cookie values have now been set and it's up to us to remove them. So you could actually do basically cookies equals document.cookie, and because our cookies are separated by colon, we can actually do a split by colon. So the split method goes ahead and splits the string up using the delimiter colon. So cookies is really, basically something which we can iterate over. So we can do a very simple var I equals 0, where I is less than cookies dot length I plus plus. And then we can quickly do an alert cookies I so that we iterate through each of these cookies, right? So let's verify that our code works perfectly. Hit and enter. Here is the first cookie, or rather the first name value pair, and here is the second name value pair. Fantastic, right? So this is how we can iterate through this string. Now, if you would like to modify the cookie value, so let me actually remove this, then you could very simply just change this to whatever you want, and this would eventually end up in overwriting the existing value. Let's say to -1, 2, 3, 4, and now we can actually do a alert once again, and you'd find that this specific value has been overwritten. So if you notice now, session ID is -1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or rather, sessions ID is what we've called it. So we've looked at how to set, we've looked at how to modify, we've looked at how to iterate, and now finally let's look at how to remove. Now the easiest way to remove a cookie is actually to set its expiry date to something in the past, right? So here is what we are going to do. Document.cookie equals, you just paste this in, and then append expires equals a date which is probably in the past. So let's say Friday 24th Jan 2014. Let me keep this value to all zeros. GMT, right? This is a date in the past as of now. And now if I do an alert document.cookie, you'll actually find that sessions ID would actually be removed. And we should also zero out the value, or rather put no value there. So let me just do a quick check. It seems okay. And now if you notice, the cookie has been removed, right? Sessions ID is no longer there, only user ID 99 is there. And we can pretty much verify it by just refreshing the page again. Right, there you go, right? You kind of set it in here. And if you remove this set clause as well, then you would pretty much not see it at all. Right? Fantastic. So this is how one can play with JavaScript to set, modify, and delete cookies. This functionality is something which is very important, and we would use time to time in more interesting examples. So that's all for this video. If you're enjoying your time here at Pentester Academy, then we would really appreciate if you can recommend us to your friends and colleagues in the InfoSec community. Thank you and have a great day ahead.